Victorian Bakers on BBC Two follows a team of modern bakers as they recreate the lives of their predecessors. During the Victorian era, Britain changed dramatically, and the bakers have been put through their paces using authentic methods and recipes from three distinct periods in the 19th century. Filming the third and final part of the series at Dunn's Bakery in Crouch End, British Baker went to get a slice of the action. Watch for exclusive interviews and the inside scoop as we go behind the scenes. First up, I chat to the two Johns about their experiences so far and find out that sometimes customers got a bit more than they bargained for in a Victorian loaf.
Yeah, we've been through hell and back. Yeah, I mean, we started off on the very early Victorian, sort of
1840.
1840.
And it was a real picturesque rural community, because at that stage in history there were more people in the countryside than there were in the towns, and that's the only time it's happened. Every time since then there's been always more people in an urban environment, and it was kind of like, it was peaceful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was really nice, and then all of a sudden they said times are changing, and instead of being this beautiful picturesque place, all of a sudden you're now starving to death.
Because the harvest failed.
Yeah.
And people are starving.
There's war on the horizon with France, and it's like we're now making less and less what would be classed as edible goods.
Yeah.
And it was just starting to sort of slip into this abyss of poverty and hunger, and we were making this vile, horrible
things. But the people were so starving that they'd eat anything. And the bakers made this horrible stuff.
Chicken?
Crammings. Because they even have to cram them down the chickens because they wouldn't eat them. The oven in that place was wood fired. But fired with things called faggots, which were like brush sticks and things. And we never ever mastered that oven, did we? We got it up to radioactive levels, and then you had to rake out the coals and pull everything out and just wash down the oven so. The minute you pop the bread in the oven, the temperature just died. The whole thing just went whoa.
How they actually made it work back then. I mean, my dad always says that the oven man is worth his weight in gold, because a good oven man knows everything about it, hot spots. We could have been there for about a year, and I don't think we'd have mastered that.
No.
It did do a good ham and eggs.
It did do a good ham and eggs.
It did do a very good ham and eggs.
And just as you thought things couldn't get any worse.
Yeah, on the horizon was the Black Country.
Yeah, we ended up in the early 1850s.
1850 to 1860.
Yeah.
And it was when the Industrial Revolution had started to push forward, and the influx of people from rural communities into the towns was immense, and the infrastructure wasn't there. And in Birmingham alone there were 350 bakeries in Birmingham area alone, and they were just there to bake bread. Their life was bread. They woke up, they were 18-hour shifts.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely grim. When you weren't shoveling coal, you were back-breaking in the trough, trying to mix 30 stone of white dough
by hand, or by another method,
or by feet.
Yeah, it's the first time in my career that I have mixed bread with my feet. So basically, shoes and socks off, dive into the mixer and tramp around. And I recommend to bakers who are watching this, don't try it.
No.
Because it's not easier. It's not easier than doing it by hand.
No.
It is totally and utterly exhausting work.
And you lost 2 toenails. So.
And I still want them back.
And as soon as it reaches 245, we have to whisk it away from here.
Next up, the only female in the group, cake baker Harpreet of Crumbs Couture. He talks to me about coping with costumes.
Everything that we do now in our bakeries comes from a rich history of baking, and I just thought it would be very interesting to go back in time and see how things were done. As a woman, as a cake maker, and as a second generation Asian in this country, I just thought it would be really enlightening to see how things were done back then. It has been hard work. We've worked in really grueling conditions. I've worked with 3 lovely chaps who are bread bakers, and at times I felt a bit out of my depth, but at no point have I ever felt uncomfortable because they're very good at making me feel involved in what's going on. As a woman, you have to wear a certain amount of layers, and I cannot take any layers off because even though I have 2 layers on underneath this, it would be deemed indecent for me to be wearing such few clothes. So working in a really hot bakery in this many layers has definitely been the hardest thing.
Finally, Duncan Glendinning of the Thoughtful Bread Company, who wanted to find out more about the history of what makes today's loaves.
So the appeal to get involved with Victorian Bakers for me was to, I suppose, start to understand, get a better understanding of where we started going wrong in this country in terms of kind of additives and kind of the mass processed bread that we have today, which is a style of baking that, you know, I'm not a big fan of, being a real bread sort of baker. Overall, the experience has been it's been a bit of a roller coaster. We've done a lot. We've been in the beautiful country estate, baking with wood-fired ovens, to the kind of grotty charcoal pit that was the lovely Black Country Living Museum, living the kind of industrial era of sticking loads of nasties in our bread, and we kind of ended up here in London, looking at what mechanisation and great flour and the innovation that they had at the time can produce. On the journey, it's been interesting because we're all very different styles of bakers from different backgrounds, and I kind of came in with very fixed opinions of what is good bread and what isn't, and it's been really interesting sharing quite heated debates with the other 2 Johns and Harpreet about the baking industry kind of as a whole. So I suppose my opinions maybe haven't necessarily changed that much, but it's kind of broadened my horizons, and I've really enjoyed the journey.